Urgent warning of world military conflict. Before I continue with the next episode, I will pause for a moment with some additional material, as this warning cannot wait. We are on the verge of the Third World War. In the earlier material I mentioned that the previous generations are the people of battle, who are constantly looking for an evil to fight. As the Generation Z is not yet strong enough, these anachronistic tendencies might win, unless we strongly oppose. The world is very tired of the prevailing epidemic, and in the older generations it awakens the fighting instinct. Some cynical politicians will want to use this, to initiate the armed conflict they desire. Such a war will help to conceal any misgovernments from the time of pandemic. Many influential parties will suggest to the public that China was responsible for the virus outbreak. For many, the war with China is a tempting prospect. As I told, the world is still with people, who believe that only by defeating other, they can provide a place for themselves. This war will not bring a solution. Potential perpetrators will not be punished, while innocent civilians will suffer. Due to the size of China, this war will be a global conflict that will ruin the world along as the great wars of the 20th century. If it is true that viruses have become weapons, then war will only worsen the situation, because probably more genetic weapons are ready, and rockets and shields will not protect us against them. In times of peace, we have a chance to control a pandemic; in times of war, not. This is why the Spanish flu was so deadly, because it attacked during an armed conflict, and the medics could not work effectively. This conflict was the First World War that took place about 100 years ago. Before it started there was a long period of exciting prosperity called La Belle Époque, which means beautiful times. It was characterized by belief in progress, when breakthrough inventions were introduced such as railways, electricity, cinema, photography, along with new theories in science and medicine. Physicists were convinced that they already knew all phenomena, and soon the universe will no longer be a mystery. Ethically, however, the world was heading inevitably towards war. It was the era of rampant colonialism. The times when military power was the basis for determining the value of man. The whole world was in a race for domination. The big countries gained power over the colonies by armed forces, while rising their military potential to deter rivals. The struggle for domination reflected into all spheres of life. More and more monsters appeared in the world, such as the King of the Belgians, Leopold II. Monsters carved from people, who were destructively affected by the wide-ranging atmosphere of superiority. People were trained for conflict; therefore, in 1914, the world welcomed the war with enthusiasm. As this constitutes the deep and true reason behind the great conflicts of the 20th century, we must be extremely careful right now, as more and more people feel the need for someone to pay for the pandemic. Again, as 100 years ago, there is a growing public approval of war. Many will want the revenge on China for the pandemic. But we have to oppose it strongly. It is time for the Generation Z to act now. Young people must express emphatically that the lesson from history has been learned, and that there will never again be permission to war again. This warning is important, as there is no written fate for the world, no spiritual guidance. We are, with our actions and decisions, we create the future. Now is the time to show that the idea of solving conflicts through wars is over. We started the era of peace.